Assalamu alaikum guys. I'm sorry I haven't been able to upload in a while. I alhamdulillah have finished my GCSEs like a few weeks ago. So between then I've just been like planning content and stuff. So the video I'm going to be doing today is because lots of people have asked me this, especially like lots of my sister's friends. And it's basically the transition between primary and secondary school because they are like very different environments and it can seem quite daunting for some people. And I know some people might not feel nervous now, but it might kick in a lot when they actually get closer to the time. And I know it was like that for me because I wasn't nervous for secondary school, but then when I did come to secondary school, I was like, okay, this is not what I expected. So I think we're going to start off with actually the differences, like the pros and cons between them. And I'm going to start off with probably what you guys are most concerned about is homework. So homework in secondary school is a lot. Like you have to just like accept the fact that homework load is going to increase. But on the bright side is the fact that in year 7, everything is like a taster. So you don't get that much homework like you would in maybe year 10 and year 11. But there is a lot more homework than there is in primary school. So I know primary school, I don't remember getting any homework in primary school unless it was like towards like SATs times. But I do believe that there is a lot more homework in year 7. So you get subject homeworks, which is quite unusual, especially, for those who are currently in primary school. But I would say the thing to make sure is, first of all, be prepared for it. Don't get scared or anything, but also do make sure that your homework is up to date. And that's so important is because when you start piling up your homework, that could really have like a knock-on effect later on. So you don't want to be stressed out trying to finish homework the night before. And year 7 can be quite stressful because you kind of want to like impress your teachers, make sure that everything is organized from the start itself. So to help you stay organized, I would definitely say at the start of the year, you get a planner. So every lesson, keep your planner out with you. So whenever you're taking your books out, take your planner out too. So if there's any tests, homework, assignments, projects, like group projects, write it down in your planner. So after school, if you wanted to refer back to like you forgot what you needed to do, you can refer back to your planner to check out what you need to do. Another big difference is the fact that in primary school, you get a lot more break times and the hours are very short. Secondary school timings are quite long. Because I know in my primary school, I had one lunch and I had 2 breaks. In secondary school, you only have 1 lunch and 1 break. So I know most schools usually just have 1 break, but I had 2, so it was a lot harder for me to transition in that sense. But you do get used to it. It's around an hour for lunch and I have 20 minutes break. And for my school timings, it's usually 8:45 to 3:35. It is a good idea to check out what your school timings are, because again they do differ between schools, but not by that much, around maybe 5-10 minutes. Okay, so in secondary school, the way that the lessons are structured are very different in primary school. So number one is primary school, you have less subjects. So you usually just have, the odd science, geography, history. It's quite scattered. There's no like set way to do things. But in secondary school, you receive a timetable. So on your first day of school, you receive 2 types of timetable. So you receive your homework timetable, which is not there in all schools, but I have it in my school, which is where they'll tell you that on Monday you have French and biology homework. On Tuesday, you just have maths homework. On Wednesday, you might have 3 pieces of homework. Again, that differs. Your main timetable is when your lessons are. So on Monday, it depends again about your school, but my school has 5 lessons in a day. But I know the school next to mine has 10. So their one is half an hour each lesson, but mine is 1 hour each lesson. So make sure that you keep your timetable safe. I would highly recommend taking a picture because sometimes it does get lost. Keep it in your blazer pocket. Just so if you wanted to, if you forgot what lesson you had next during the day, you can just whip it out and then use it at school. And you need to make sure you get the books in for that day. So if I had biochem, physics, maths, English for some reason, I would make sure that I have all those books in my bag, which is another way that both of these differ, is the fact that I know in primary school, my books would stay with the teacher, or I would have like a tray at school, which I would keep my books in. In secondary school, it's different. you usually get your you get your books home basically. It's a matter of organization. So that's a skill you really need to develop in secondary school is staying organized. Don't forget books. I mean, if you do the odd one or time, but that's fine. But don't do it consistently because teachers really won't appreciate that. Okay, so a question is that which one is more fun? And honestly, it's quite open-ended question. It's quite a opinionated question. There are like a lot more positives too. I know the school trips in secondary school are way better. Like I've gone to Thorpe Park. I go to the cinema twice a year at school. I've been to Iceland. I know when I go to sixth form, there's Disneyland. So there are like a lot of opportunities as well as, you need to work hard at the end of the day to enjoy the things in secondary school. But yeah, again, that's a question that maybe you might want to ask yourself at the end of your secondary school life. Which one did you actually enjoy more? Okay, so one of the pros of secondary is really to understand what you enjoy, and maybe that could lead to a career in the future. Because I know that in secondary school you have more options. So I kind of know that, okay, I might like biology, I might be more of a sciencey person, and I might not be into maybe humanities as much, or I might not enjoy languages. And that really does help shape what I want to do in the future. And in primary school, I know you don't really have that. It's more about, I just want to like play with my friends. So you do have a lot more variety of subjects, which actually in a way is good. It might seem like a lot now, but you don't want to get bored too quickly at school, because I know that sometimes if you have the same subjects repetitively, like in GCSEs, and I know it's going to get worse in A levels, you might get bored of what you do. In year 7, you have a lot of subjects, so you don't really get bored, especially when you do homework. You don't need to do the same homework for hours. Another quick thing about homework is that homework is in year 7 usually around 25 minutes, 30 at max. So you don't want to spend too long on it, but also don't spend too less on it, because you want it to be at the best quality possible. So behavior in primary school and secondary school is very different. I would say that you have to behave a lot more in secondary school than in primary school, obviously, because teachers really like to observe you, especially for the first few weeks. Teachers are going to seem really, really strict. Like I still remember I got told off lots of times in the first week. I know lots of my friends who got told off, but it's just because they really want you to see the expectations. Like, what do they expect from you? It differs between schools also, because I go to a grammar school, so they tend to be a lot stricter. And some teachers are really nice, so yeah, don't be scared of that. But just understand that you need to know like when to behave and when to be a bit mature, and when you can mess around. So with your friends at break, like do whatever you want, as long as it's within limits. But the first few weeks, just try to cooperate with teachers and with one another, because it is quite hard. It's hard for the teachers too, because they don't know you as well. They don't know your strengths and your weaknesses. So yeah, the first few weeks might be a bit hard. Okay, so organization wise, the two main things I'd say is, number one, I've already talked about your planner, and it's so important. Like, it might not seem important now, but for me, I only started using my planner properly in around year 10, because 2 of my years went into COVID, and then year 9, I just didn't understand how important planning was. So please just do use your planner properly. Like, just try to use it as much as you can. It just reduces so much stress in general. Yeah, so you don't want to stress yourself out too much in secondary school. So I would highly advise, please use your planner. Okay, so equipment wise, I'm not going to go much into depth about this, but the equipment list will be in the description. I would also recommend to usually get school, so which I will talk about on later, school tours. So you get like induction booklets, so it should be in there. Your uniform should be in there. So uniform list, stationery list, all of that should be in there. This leads on to tours, because tours are quite important, and I would really recommend you go to that also, because you want to get a feel in the environment of the school. Now it's a bit late to actually choose what school you want to go to, because I know like applications are usually sent a bit earlier on in the year, but you do want to know roughly like where your main entrance is. You want to know how the school looks like, because you don't want to go on your first day of school wondering, I don't know where the science labs are, I don't know where the canteen is. You want to have like at least like a rough idea. There should be like tours you can book for, to see if you can have like a look around in the school. Attend the induction evening. So you should, as like both your parents and you, it's better to go together, because after all, you're going to be attending the school and your parents are going to be helping you on the way. So parents and students, please like just go to the induction evenings. And in that, they will discuss the subjects, main teachers around the school, like pastoral support, head of years, head teachers, senior leader team. They'll discuss uniform rules, equipment that's going to be in the booklet. They're going to talk quite a lot about the school environment in general. And it's so important because in secondary school, there's so many changes. You have new friends, new environment, new classroom, new school, new location. Everything is so new in secondary school. So it is a good idea to go just to check it out. Make yourself feel a bit more confident and comfortable before the first day of school, because you don't really want to wake up the morning feeling really nervous because you don't know where to go. So yeah, go to the induction days, please. Okay, so one of the questions that I did have was about prayer rooms at school. And obviously my year 7 and 8 was in COVID. So in year 9, the first thing I did was to email the head of year, ask him, is there a prayer room? And he did say there was. So what I would recommend you guys do is email your head of year prior to school starting. Email your head of year, or you can call up the school and ask. You can also email the head teachers or just the office in general, and they'll give you like a room to go to at lunch. And this room is designated just for prayers. So mine is in one of my economic rooms. So they have that room just at lunch separated out, so people who want to pray can go and pray. And that's really helpful because it's a more quieter environment. So they usually have it open for around 25 to 30 minutes, which is quite a big time because it's half of lunch if you think about it. I would recommend you go before your lunch, just like finish your lesson, go to prayer room, pray, and then go to have lunch, because after lunch you are going to feel a bit tired maybe, and you just want to hang out with your friends, I guess. So you might just be a bit more tempted not to go. So yeah, you can email yourself. So on the first day of school, you should get a email or email address. You can email the school, email whoever, and you can take the initiative yourself. Or if you're not feeling that confident, you can just ask your parents to do that for you. Or you can ask people who you already know go to the school, maybe like older siblings or just people who you know have been to the school before, because they might be able to help quite a bit. And this does apply also to anything really. If you do know people who have gone to the same school as you, because each school differs curriculum-wise, content-wise, so you can just ask them, and I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help. Okay, so one of the things that I think it's really important for you guys to know is when you guys miss days of school for whatever reason, if you're sick or I don't know, if you some other reason, catch up on the work, because teachers do pay attention to these small details. And when it comes to your report at the end of the year, your parents' evenings, these things will be mentioned. So there are 4 things you can actually do. So you have lots of options on what you can do. So make sure you do catch up on the work. Number 1 is if you're sick, email your teacher to ask about work, or you can email your friend. Or the other 2 options are check your Teams page, because your Teams page will have content uploaded on it for you to take notes from, or check your SharePoint. So my school has a SharePoint where it's like a Microsoft SharePoint and everything is uploaded on there. And then in the description, I'm also going to add some YouTube videos, which really did help me to understand the content, because obviously getting taught something and just writing down notes is very different. So yeah, I will put the links of the YouTube videos down below. Okay, so the last 2 things I really want to discuss are, I know, usually the biggest things people are scared of, and that's having new friendships and the pressure that you have to face in secondary. So I'm going to start off with friendships, and it's the fact that you might go there thinking that you're new. And I know that I've experienced this because I moved to a school which was 3 hours away from my primary school. So I was new to the whole area. I was new to the city. I was new to the school, just the environment. I didn't know anyone. So it was really, really tough for me. But I realized that I wasn't the only one in that situation. So if you think that you're really nervous because you're like, oh, but I don't know anyone, you're not the only one in that position. There's going to be at least like at minimum one other person who goes through that. And keep in mind, your year group is going to be very big. So if you think about it, there's going to be a lot more people. So just make sure that you go in confident. Don't be too nervous about it, because you get to know people eventually as you like do lessons and group works. I know that the first day of school is usually a bit chill. It's like an icebreaker, so you get to do games with your form group. I would also say is if you do know people, try not to stick with them too much. I'm not saying that don't be friends with them. I'm just saying talk to other people as well, because in future years, as you progress throughout the year, your form groups, you're going to be in different classes, you're going to meet new people. So try to develop that skill as well to talk to people you actually haven't met before. So the second part is pressure. Pressure is something that it's going to be hard for you guys to understand now, because obviously you haven't gone to year 7 yet, you haven't been through exams and stuff. But when you do get to that stage, just understand that pressure is going to be there no matter what. So over time, you will learn to deal with pressure. You are going to feel nervous for like mid-topic assessments and end-of-topic assessments, end of years initially. But I know, and I'm telling you that I've done my GCSEs a few weeks ago, and I was not as nervous for them as I was for my year 7 mid-topic assessments or just the mini quizzes I used to have. So your confidence does grow over the years. Just try not to put too much pressure on yourself. So ways to help with that is just try to stay as organized as possible. Don't leave anything to the last minute, because you can just add so much pressure to yourself. Talk to people who you trust about it if you really do feel like you are getting quite stressed out. And number one, I would say, is parents with this, because parents understand what you're going through. They're not going to like scream at you because you're getting stressed out. If not, you do have pastoral support at school, which is usually pretty good. They will help you to deal with anxiety and stress at school, so you can check that out also. Overall, I would just say enjoy the last few weeks of primary school. It is really fun, because I remember, I had loads of fun doing, end of year productions, signing shirts, leavers books and stuff like that. So do enjoy the last few weeks, and enjoy your summer break. Don't put too much pressure on yourself trying to learn year 7 content, because in my opinion, you're going to learn it either way. So just enjoy it, because after year 7 starts, you are going to have to do work, whatever the case is. So just have fun, relax, hang out with your friends, go out with your family during the summer. Don't stress too much about it, because it's honestly going to be better than you probably expect it's going to be. And I wish all the very best of luck to everyone who's going to be going to secondary school next academic year. And I just hope that everyone's going to do well. Inshallah, my next 2 videos are going to be aimed primarily at those who are going to year 11 this year, about GCSE. So I'll just give some a few top tips, and for transitioning and choosing your GCSE subjects, because these 2 are very important stages in your secondary school life, and important decisions. You don't want to regret it after. So inshallah, stay tuned for that, and I will see you next time. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.